All right, tonight's homework, 8-7 through 8-11. First question, Mark scores on his first 9 assignments were a 10, 10, 9, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, and 8. So A asked you for the median and the range. So again, the median is the middle number, and you have to put your data set in order from least to greatest. So hopefully you've written 8, 8, 9, 9, 9. There's 5. And it looks like he had 4 10s. So 10, 10, 10, and 10. So first we got to find the middle of the 9 numbers. So usually I like to go one at a time. One here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one there. And it looks like the middle of that. 4 on each side, I believe. So your median is 9. Now your range is your highest score subtracted by your lowest score. So 10 minus 8 would be 2. Now the mean and the average so far, we're going to have to tally up how many points he's received on all 9 assignments, just like on your Power School. So 2 8s is 16. 3 9s is 27. And 4 10s is 40. And if we add all our assignments up, you get 60, 70, 83. So now we have to divide 83 into 9. How many times does 9 go into 83? 9 times, which is 81. We got 2 left over. Add a 0, bring it down. 9 goes into 20, 2 times, 18. You got 2 left, so it's 9.2 repeated. So his average would be 9.2 repeated sign, because 2 is going to go on forever. Question C is talking about Mark did a 10th assignment and he got a 0 on it. 0 is an outlier for these assignments. What is his new mean? So now we're going to have to divide 10 assignments into 83. And that is just simply going over 1 decimal place, which will give you an 8.3 average. So he drops 9/10 of a point. So again, it kind of just shows you if you are doing pretty well in class and you miss a 0, how much your grade can drop, because he went from a 92% to an 83%.
Let's give him that.
8-8. Set up a graph and plot 4 points from the vertice corners or of a rectangle. Then write the coordinates on 4 points and find the lengths of each. So basically, you could have plenty of answers on here. What I'm going to do is kind of do my best to draw myself a graph. That was terrible. I'll go back and try that again. So I'll just make sure I'm somewhere. Good enough. So starting in the middle, I just need to put a rectangle. So being lazy, I'm probably just going to put a dot on the line. I could put a dot right here. And I'll make that one part of my line. I'll go down a couple. Again, all I got to do is make a rectangle. So looking at my rectangle that I drew, or if you drew your own, you can kind of check over. Starting at 0, 0, I went 1, 2. So 2, 0 would be one of my coordinates. going this way, I got 1, 2, 3. Negative 3, 0. Next, I got over 2, down 3. And then my fourth point here would be over 3, down 3. So again, you can have any type of rectangle you want. That's the one I created.
Beautiful.
All right, 8-9. Rewrite the expression using the distributive property. So going back to our last chapter 7 midpoint test, we have to get x squared somehow, and we have to get 35. So one way to get 5x squared is if you had 5x on the outside of your parentheses, you're going to multiply it just by x, because x times x is x squared. So 5x times x is 5x squared. And then 5 times what? 5x times what would be 35? That would be your 7. Because 5x times 7 is 35x. All right, moving on to our next one. This is the easier part because we're just multiplying. 8x times 7 would be 56x. And then 8x times 2x would be minus 16x squared. All right, moving down to B, because we skipped a little typo here. We got 9x minus 3x squared. So again, since I have that x squared, I'm going to have to put something x on the outside of my parentheses. So looking at a common factor, I'm going to use 3x. So 3x times what is 9x? 3. Keep my sign the same. 3x times just my 1x to get my x squared, my 3x squared. And the last one, hopefully, by this you can figure it out. You got to do 4 times x. And then you got to do 4 times 7 and keep your signs. So for C, you're going to have 4x minus 28. All right, finally, the final two, 8-10. Use each of the digits 2, 3, 5, and 8 once with any combination of addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, or using parentheses to write an expression with a value of 104. So again, I'm going to leave this one to you. It's kind of a puzzle. But again, you got to use each digits 2, 3, 5, 8 once with any combination to get an answer of 104. So how are you going to use those answers or numbers and properties to get 104? So last one, we're going back to the generic rectangles. They kind of gave us some information, and it's up to us to figure out what's missing. So 1 times what is 2? So we know the top is 2. And then looking at this side, we got 1/9. But knowing that 2 is on top, 2 times what is 2/3? 2 times 1/3. So we have 1/3 on the bottom. And then 1/3 times what would be 1/9? That would be 1/3. So 1 times 1/3 in this box right here, we have 1/3. So you have to add all those up. You have 2, 1/3, 2/3, and 1/9. Well, if I add my 2/3 and my 1/3 up, I'm going to get a whole. And I see my single 2. I'm going to have 2. And I'm going to have my 1/9. And I'm going to get 3 and 1/9 as my total answer. So 2 1/3 times 1 1/3 is 3 1/9. All right, last one. I got 4, and I got an answer of 8, so I know this is 2. And then 2 times what would be 1? 2 times 1/2, so I have 4 1/2. And then 2 times what would be 1/8? Or how would I get 1? So if I had 4 on top, what would I get on the bottom? Or 2 times what would be 1/8, which is 1/4. So I have a 4th here. And 4 times a 4th would be 1. So again, I add them all up. I got 8 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1/8. My total would be 8, 9, 10, and 1/8. So hopefully, if you follow along with our class today, you just have 8-10 to do. Good luck. It's just going to be a little tricky. You're going to have to do a little trial and error. And again, thanks for coming for help.